One of the more romantic periods of American history is the Old West. And one of the biggest portions of our inventory actually are newspapers from the Old West, which I sort of characterize as any issue west of the Mississippi from after the Civil War up to maybe the 1890s. Here we have a newspaper from Oakland, California called the Oakland Times, dating in 1880. Obviously many illustrated advertisements. Look at the interesting shirt advertisement they have on the front page here. And the furniture, which now see in auctions going for hundreds if not thousands of dollars, were advertised here as being just common sort of ordinary furnishings. Look at the shoes. Illustrated shoe advertisements. Obviously when we think of the Old West, we think of gunfights, we think of cowboys and Indians. You find advertisements, illustrated advertisements for guns, whether they're rifles or the six-shooters or whatever they were using at the time. The advertisements will be in there for the guns as well. It's interesting to find newspapers mentioning names that we now know is quite famous. Jesse James, Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, Wyatt Earp. Some of them back then were just kind of nobodies, and they became more romantic as time has gone on. Same way that you had some artists back during the 1800s who were nobodies at that time. They were starving, they could barely put food on the table. But yet now, if they could have lived another 100 years, they'd be multimillionaires. Something we now know is quite famous, the gunfight at the OK Corral. Movies have been made from it. Back then it was just a kind of a non-event. But it's fascinating to have newspapers of this period and to be able to dig through and find small reports of events that we now know as being quite famous. They thought of something as being rather commonplace. We now see as being something extremely historical and very much connected to the events of the Old West.